Is going on, YouTube team? It is Power Hour, and we got some stocks we're keeping our eye on. I hope everyone's having a good day so far. My name is Sniper Mike, and we are ready to take advantage of possibilities overnight. If you are new here, I've been trading since 2018, actually, technically way before that, but profitable since about 2017, 2018. And usually the strategy that I've been trading hasn't changed much. There's always tweaks and twerks and add-ons, but for the most part, we're looking to take stuff overnight, buy one day, sell the next day, and hopefully for some profit. Now, it's not just I go in blind one day and just buy some random stocks and just sell some random stocks. They have to line up with certain things, and those things are pattern, volume, and risk level. So if we have those three things, we're going to go after some stocks overnight here. And it looks like we have those three things lining up in a couple stocks. So we're going to buy stuff live right now. We're going to buy some BBAI here because this is actually one of them. And then we'll get right into trading. So why not get right into action here? If you guys want to join me, this is actually me buying from my account. Live trading here. I'm getting some at 403, and then at 402 we'll put some limit in. And usually what I like to do is I like to buy on the way down. So I usually like to be on the bid until it's the last 30 minutes of the day. So I personally like to specialize in the last part of the day. If you're busy throughout the day, it's really fun to just come join and do Power Hour with me. I like to say make Mondays fun again, tag a bag Tuesday. We always are looking to have a good time no matter what, but it's always fun time when you're making money with other people. So that was the whole reason why I kind of had the community that I started, because I loved making money with my friends. And then it continued to grow. And now I just continue to do this every single day. And I've honestly passionately love doing it every day. Some days are losses, but the best thing about the community is when you do have losses, you still see other people making money and you're like, all right, let me pick up my big boy pants and let's get right back into it. So for the 5 stocks we got, as we kind of try to buy some more of this BBAI, is let's get right in and I'll show them to you right from my watch list. So I do create this watch list at 3 o'clock usually every day. I know it's 3:07 right now, but we were kind of setting ourselves up and finding the stocks we like. So let me put them up in the corner with these stocks right next to it. If it's hard to see, I'm going to try to pull up each stock individually with the watch list. So we'll start with the first one we have. We've already bought some of this stock. If you were with me live with the team, you can see I do send out my buy alerts and sell alerts live, but I honestly highly recommend you to just kind of learn from this strategy and almost try to create your own strategy. The best thing I would highly recommend is this is a skill, and this skill lasts forever once you get it. It does take a different amount of time for everybody, but also everybody has a different way of tweaking this skill. So it's really hard to copy someone exactly, but for the most part, that's why I like to put 5 stocks on my overnight watch list. And each one of these stocks that we're going to go over highlights a pattern of mine. And I only trade pretty much 2 patterns for the most part, but I do trade 5 total, but 2 for the most part. There's only 2 on this watch list. And then you're going to see the key resistance level and the key support. The support is key because that's what we're going to risk that's where I have to get out. If the stock comes down, I have to tell myself this isn't worth it anymore. So if the stock doesn't have a good support, then I'm not going to go after it. A good example would be AKAN. It's made such a big move. It's up 75% today, but in my eyes, the support's all the way down here. That's what it's held all day. It's just too wide of a range. It's still a first green day. It's still one of my patterns you'd play, or a multi-month breakout, but just too much going on there. So that's kind of the example of risk level in a way. I'm not going to steer people in the direction of high risk. I usually like to risk about 5% to make around 10 to 15% on these plays. So with Fannie Mae, that's the first one. You have a high day of 776, and then it's been holding this pop of 750. What I love about Fannie Mae is if you zoom out, you can see there's a lot of past history of gap ups, meaning the stock follows up after it creates a green day. I mean, there's a lot of days, and we've played this stock here, we played this stock here, so we aren't shy to play this stock because we know about it. So we definitely love this one. Now, what's great is I have a twin brother, straight up look-alike. I have an identical twin brother that walks the planet Earth with me. It's actually amazing. He does have long hair now, and he does have a crazy beard. I keep the clean cut, so we do kind of have our own image. But throughout high school and all that, we kind of looked the same even when we were younger. And guess what? Fannie Mae has a twin brother too, or twin sister, however you want to say it. And it's Freddie Mac. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FMCC, and FNMA. And usually one follows the other. So if you look at it, they're both up 6%. So they're both about even. But sometimes you'll get one to lead really quick, and then you can almost take advantage of the other. And that's what I did in the past with these stocks. But for this one, it kept holding up, and then FNMA just dipped. So that's why I bought this. So I bought this into this dip right here, literally at 759 and 758. It was pretty much the perfect spot that we got to the dip. And if you look at FMCC, it didn't really dip at all. So that's why I decided to go after the FNMA instead. Either way, they both will probably do the same thing tomorrow. So that's what we're looking for, a possible follow-up. And if they do follow up, there is a breakout coming up. And if they do break out, that's really strong. But we're looking for them to possibly come back to this breakout level. The next stock is a listed stock. So we got two OTCs first, then we're going with the next two listed stocks. So I like to mix it up. BBAI, I think, is a really good example. And we just got some at 402. We got a little bit at 403. So we're starting to sprinkle into this listed stock. I like the 395 cut. That's all you'd have to use. If it comes back below it, we'll risk the 7 cents and say screw it. You can't put yourself in a position to win without actually trying. So we're going to have to actually try here. If we take the loss, you take the loss. And then you do have a lot of history of follow-ups. There's a big green day. You also have the last time that it created a green day, it actually gapped up. So we'll see if it can actually gap up. There is pre-market and post-market to this stock. It's listed. So stuff could be moving all the way till 8 p.m., but we do have some here at 403. So if you wanted to join the party. FNMA and BBAI were the two stocks that we decided to get so far. Usually like to buy them on dips. So we got 403 and 758 as our spots, looking for possible follow-ups into tomorrow. Today is still a slower day, in my opinion. I'll highlight that after the last two stocks here. But the markets are kind of red today. It's not really the prettiest day today. So GoPro is the fourth one on my list. This is called the multi-month breakout. You can see that in the past it's broken out and ran, but can it keep going? Beyond Meat was a recent runner for a meme stock. It's coming back down, so not much coming out of it. But for some reason, you got GoPro holding up, and it's technically a multi-month breakout, which means it's breaking out of a spot it hasn't in a while, and that breakout spot is like 148. So you want to see it hold that. Usually if these stocks can hold their breakout spots, it's a good sign that they can actually follow up. And then the last but certainly not least would be another OTC. This one we've played a couple times, and it's followed up for us. It's only up 6%, so I wouldn't expect a jackpot here. But you can see, when this stock flows, it does tend to have gap up days. And when it gaps up, there is a chance you get a follow-up after that. So usually, like I said on that last stock, you won't win without putting yourself in the position to win. And this is another one of those ones. Do you think it's going to keep flowing and possibly get over 6 finally? That's an opinion. And honestly, the flow is usually pretty good with this stock. So that is the last one. All of these stocks have clear support, and then the goal is hopefully they break the resistance. So you want to buy as close to the support, sell above the resistance. I make this watch list every single afternoon that we have live trading together, and we live trade every day together. So the beautiful thing about this is you can go look at past history to see what I've been doing. And it's been pretty well this year. This year and last year, we've been doing really, really good. Let's see if we can keep the consistency going. Does anybody have any tickers or questions that they want to bring up before we got into more buying stuff? Nice, Brian. Welcome to the team. I'm glad to have you here. Other than that, if you're on YouTube, the where you're looking right here, this is actually, it's called Simpler Trading. It's a great website. It brings tons of traders together, and our community Stock Snipers is actually homed under Simpler Trading's website. So pretty cool stuff here. If you ever want to come live trade with us every day, and I also trade in the morning. So if you don't like anything this afternoon, there's always a morning watch list as well, which Carr and Hertz still haven't completely bounced. But all right, let's close out the afternoon. Let's see what we get here. We have FNMA coming back to highs, but we do have BBAI coming back to 4. So we got to be a little careful there, but we do have FNMA coming up, which is nice to see. Let's see if we can get that curl into the end of the day here. I'm gonna buy a little more of this BBAI. We want to buy it as it comes down. So if I liked it earlier up here, then I gotta like it when it comes back down here. That's the whole. It's a hard mentality that you have to kind of base yourself off of. And I know, it can be different for everybody, but my style of trading, technically, if I like it at the end of the day and it still holds the support, I always say dips are discounts. Usually the lower it goes, the better you'll have when it comes up. And why I'd say it's a discount, because if it does come back down and you do have to get out, you lose less. But also if it curls back up and it breaks back out, you win more. So I try to say get excited when they come down a bit. And that's why for this Fannie Mae, we bought right here. HTREF, very slow OTC, but it is continuing now too. The other ones that I was thinking of, if you do want to keep watching higher priced, quicker ones, this one's not too quick, but it's a first green day. It's a listed stock, BIAF. I'm not a biggest fan of it. I usually like only putting 5 stocks on the watch list because I think it's overwhelming if you put more than 5. But BIAF, AKAN was a huge runner, and ATER. So 2 big A runners here. This AKAN multi-month breakout move, but too risky for me to go overnight. So I usually want to put that on the watch list. And then the next one, ATER, is halted on the way down, but another one that ran from 1.2 to 180. So the risk level is all the way down here. A little too risky in my opinion. So I'll stick with, dip buying, which looks like we just got filled at that $4 spot. That's why you want to have your limit down. So when it does buy, it buys on the way down. And let's see if it kind of curls back for this BBAI. So I personally think those are going to be the only 2 I go after. Every day is different. Sometimes I'll do 3 stocks. The other day we had cannabis stocks that went absolutely nuts, and we were able to take advantage of that. It cooled off since. We actually we traded one overnight, VRNL, but they've cooled off. But we were able to take advantage of some big moves in the cannabis because MSOS, which is the cannabis ETF, got very big movement because Trump or not Trump, but the White House declassified cannabis. So I do think MSOS and the rest of that momentum isn't over yet, but we need to break back out of the 5s. So I like to keep an eye on this one if you are watching cannabis stocks. I like to be watching MSOS, and usually if this is able to break, the rest of them kind of follow. So if you want, you don't even have to watch all of these other ones. You could just watch this one and just wait for that breakout level. The group of cannabis stocks that we like to watch, so the one that we made money off of was VRNL, which we took this gap up from 126 all the way to 150. If you actually look at the day we bought it right as it spiked. We were like the first ones in. So instantly getting right here. Right when it spiked, we were in. And then selling right here. That was almost picture perfect. But then we had some other ones like CRLBF. where we were able to buy down here, sell up here. TSNDF, all of them had a similar move. We bought down here, sold up here. So really nice moves across the board, and I do think they'll eventually come back. But for now, they've cooled off a bit. Some other ones you can watch are TCNNF, TCNNF, which is called True Leaf. They actually have a woman CEO, Kim Rivers, and she's like very big within like politics. So it's probably not a bad one to watch. It's probably why it's still hanging around. She's probably in a lot of politics pockets. I don't like to talk politics, but I just been watching these stocks for a while. There's a multi-month breakout there. And then another one, GTBIF, you have most of these are dispensaries that are actually in the United States, but they cannot deal with the federal government. So they actually have to have an F at the end of their stock. So if you see, that's why a lot of them look like they're foreign companies, but they're not. It's a weird loophole. Another one is Curleaf, CURLF. That's another dispensary. This one gets very volatile, so this is a good one to watch. Usually my favorite lately has been VRNO, CRLBF because it's right at $1. And then if you like higher price ones, TCNNF. But that is the cannabis sector in about 5 minutes I gave you guys. All right, getting back to Fannie Mae, we're not making new highs yet, but the slow mover is trying to creep back up. Let's see how it does. Let's see if it's able to break here. Very slow. But what's interesting about this is you also have FMCC that it's not really at highs. So I'm a little surprised this one's up there, but maybe this one's going to lead the way. So if you do like one or the other and you're not in anything yet, maybe this one would be the better bet. FMCC because it's up a little less. But we've already got our kind of size in both of in FNMA and our BBAI. Let's see. What did we do last week together? We were live together last week from. It's always the same. Let me pull it up. Was it the cannabis stocks last week? It was the day before the cannabis stocks. So let's get to last Tuesday. Oh, we had Spirit Airlines together on that list. So if you were with me a week ago, we were talking Spirit Airlines. If you look at the overnight watch list, you can actually see FLYQQ, which is now the new Spirit Airlines. We were looking at it at 50 cents down here. Now, if you open it up, FLYQQ is all the way up at 175 from 50 cents. And it's on the watch list for tomorrow morning, too. So if you don't like anything overnight here, this is definitely continues to be a watcher. There's been a potential buyout. The White House said they might even buy Spirit Airlines, but it's had a nice range. It spiked from 50 cents. This was the day that we were together, literally a week ago, and it went from 50 cents to 240. Not sure if you guys saw that, but that move was unreal. And I've played bankrupt stocks before. This is just a bankrupt big move that gets news of a buyout. If you actually go back to my YouTube, you can actually see the other ones that we've played. So what's great about, if you want to go back to past history, Brian, that was just looking at our YouTube earlier, and whoever's on YouTube, you can go back to old bankrupt plays. We just actually went over one, not just went over, it was like 3 years ago, but It was like 2 years ago, but with Strati, he's a recent millionaire trader. If you just type in Strati FRCBQ, we talked about the second Green Day play, and that's exactly what this was. It was just a bankrupt second Green Day play. So if you look at that Strati video, it was a great one. And then J.C. Penney, we took advantage of a while ago. Bed Bath and Beyond, and that was going on. Party City. So there's been a lot of the old school bankrupt companies. It doesn't just happen once and it happened again. But tomorrow morning we'll have it on the morning watch list. All right, so Fanny did have a hard time at the high day once again. A slower mover. Today is a slower day compared to last week. Last week we had a lot going on. So understanding when to pull back a little bit's not a bad idea either. We've had a really good week so far. All right, so BBAI is back to that 402 spot that we've got now. Good little dip buys. I guess we're going to stick with this 395 is cut. So since it is listed, we'll be watching till 8. But we did just recently learn how to do some after hours alerts. I'm going to put them on there right now. So I like to right click it, add drawing, add the price level. I'll do one down here at 398. And then once it's in, you right click it, create alert with drawing, crosses below. Boom. We'll do one more on the upside. Add drawing, right click it, create alert with drawing, crosses above. Boom, bada boom. All right. Now let's see if we can get the pushes. There's 30 minutes left. And the last 30 minutes is when I like to get a little more aggressive, but we've already kind of got our size that we want. I don't think I want to get too crazy heavily sized into anything right now just because of the overall market conditions. If you haven't been watching, I always like to look at the QQQ and SPY to see what's going on. And we're down almost a full percent in the QQQ. We needed a pullback. I still feel like we need a pullback, but that doesn't mean we can't find stuff to trade. So both QQ and SPY, small pullback for now. We'll see if anything follows up, but they seem pretty bullish still. And then Bitcoin, 80K, looks like the new heavy spot. Let's hopefully hold 76K, which it just recently broke for the first time in like 2 months. And let's see if we can get back above 80. That's ideally what we look for. We got BBAI with that hold of 4. But both of these plays I'm playing are, I would like to call them slower movers compared to what I usually do. Definitely a little bit of slower movers here. So as we sit here and wait, let's see. Does anybody else have any tickers? Chris, what you got? Yeah, Chris, is that wild? I can't believe it. He's a millionaire. I think last I don't want to talk too much about his business, but he talks about it publicly too, so I won't say too much. But last month he made 100,000. Just shows you the ability of what's out there. So here, let me see if I can find the video on YouTube. So let's see. I'll just put it in the chat. I'm not gonna. Stock Sniper, Strati. No. FRCBQ. don't think I could put Strati in there. No. I want to find it. It's a great video. Oh, back to FNMA. Let's watch this while we're watching. So if any of you guys ever want to check out some older stuff, I do want to. I'm gonna get back to consistently posting. Here he is. So it was 2 years ago. Look at that. Now I do is a million. Little notes. My boy, here he is. Trade well, give back. On. I was in the office at the time. He was just crossing 100K in his videos. This guy's on a skyrocket. Monster of a run recently. If you don't follow on Instagram, I'd highly recommend it. Look at Himini, buddy. What's up, Himini? Commented on it 2 years ago. I saw boy too. Himini's been absolutely crushing it lately. He's actually in the chat right now. I think he's been just having $1,000 day after $1,000 day. FNMA just can't break this. All right. BBA still holding. So yeah, if you want to check that video out, it's a bankrupt company. It was actually when the banking stocks went bankrupt. It was FRCB, but technically they go to FRCBQ. So it's a really fun one. And it's very similar. It's a second Green Day play. Eventually it spurts up more, but really cool stuff there. All right. Yeah, I know, right, Chris? That shit's crazy, bro. It just shows you the ability that's out there, man. It's all about yourself. Everybody can do it. I always said if they can do it, you can do it. I can do it if they can do it. That's usually the mentality I like to be. And the great thing is I hang out with these guys now probably about 3 to 4 times a year. So I get to actually see them, and it's that same mentality. If they can do it, I can do it. And all you guys should have that same personal like opinion on it. Because we all have the same skills. You know, some people might not have the same money, and that's why some people might take longer than others. So no need to rush that. But as long as you see the potential, you know, that's the bigger thing. You know, when I was younger, like when I was in my 20s, I was like sitting here trying to just sell shit. And I mean, I knew I was giving out good content, but no matter what, it comes off sketchy with the stocks. And I always knew I was doing something good. And if you go back to the Profitly, you can see it. But now I've come back to a complete laid back approach where it's not really too much about the sell. Like I'm not trying, I don't mind if you guys join. I love the community I already have. And it's really just about growing the account as large as possible. And I'd love for you guys to join along if you can. But if not, you know, I'm always going to try to push out the best content because I do think that this industry does need it. And I've always been someone that loves to hang out with others and give back. The one thing about this industry, if you are a trader, is it's very lonely. You're alone a lot. And I'm not like a lonely person. I like to be with people. As you see, I talk a lot. But yeah, there's the whole kind of career here, and we're breaking all new all-time highs. Tomorrow is webinar Wednesday, and every Wednesday we review our trades. So tomorrow I'll be reviewing my trades with the team, and I think we're close. We're over 525K now because last week we made over 1,500. So excited to review that tomorrow. And let's see if we can add some more here into the close of the day. So Fannie Mae tends to have a really hard time at that 775. So that'll be the spot tomorrow that we'll see. Can you gap up above that? Yesterday when we played a stock, we decided to buy and sell it, and it gapped up pretty nicely. But it had such a hard time at 9 all day. If you zoom in, it never could cross 9. It never broke back below 8.5, but it never crossed 9. The next morning, it instantly crosses it. So sometimes that's all it takes is the momentum that next day is what you need. Yeah, there we go, Chris. making himself accountable. That's what it's all about. Me too. Me too. It's about budgeting and stuff. Doing things not the best way. I pay myself a little too much, I believe, but I am working on it. So once you find out what you have wrong with yourself, try to just constantly, better yourself. And the cool thing about trading is you are your own boss. It's kind of you versus you. So this ATER got unhalted and came right back to reality. That's why I always recommend selling big pushes. Just got halted on the way down again. Oh, wow. Here's the other one that was running. What was the other A1 that I brought up? AMTX or something like that? These are fun to watch while we just watch our plays slowly make a move. Sometimes you can snipe some. I don't recommend swinging that, and that's why the risk level is just so wide. GoPro is making new highs, so it's nice to see GoPro hanging around. I'm not going to go after it, but that is one of the stocks on that watch list. The thing I don't love about GoPro is the risk level is kind of all the way down here. Like you'd have to use 148 as cut, and you could, but if you do that, there's a better chance you have to get out pretty soon because it's just such a small. You have no room for error. The whole purpose of the strategy that I have is you want to buy into dips and you want to have some sort of cushion or some sort of push going overnight because then you have a little room for error if the stock does need to push down. And then you can kind of get out even, or you can get out and still make money. So that's usually a big part of my strategy is kind of finding a good spot, not just buying in the last second right at the end of the day. So I like to come back to the computers around 2:30, 2 o'clock, and that's usually when I really start to eye down. Throughout the day, though, no matter what, I'm always watching my phone because I'm always trading on my phone no matter what. I started trading at Orange Theory Fitness when I worked for a gym, and I had to do all that on my phone. There would be like literally a customer come in, and I have to sell a gym membership to some guy while I'm about to buy some Fannie Mae, and I'd be like, "Oh my goodness, not this time, please!" And I'd still have to do it, and you can do it all on your phone. There's possibilities between it all. All right, well, there's a little dip there for the Fannies. FMCC still hasn't quite dipped, but FNMA got a little dippage. They're both kind of staying at that same spot. So 758 would be the spot that we have right now if you guys don't like it. Remember, the goal is this is to create a skill. Why I kind of have what I do is just to kind of join along with me. And if you want to see what I do and, learn and take a little tidbit, that's the whole purpose of this. But it's hard if you just directly try to copy all the alerts and then sell all the alerts. It starts to become a little harder to do that because we don't have the same brain. So yeah, I always say don't let your phone be an excuse. There's a lot of people out there that do that. But let's not do that. All right, so as BBAI comes up, and if you do like that dip in FNMA, this is probably a good time to buy. Remember, you want to buy into dips. And if you did buy into that BBAI dip, now you're up. So that's looking good. don't know if you guys are sports there, but as things slowed down a little bit during this power hour, since it's not that fast of a power hour, let's watch something to get us going. Did anybody watch the game last night? Did anybody watch the game last night? I actually live in Orlando. I'm from South Florida. Moved to Orlando just recently to hang out. My fiance's got a job up here. So the good thing about trading is you can kind of do whatever with it. I was able to kind of get up and go. I still have a house down in Fort Lauderdale. But now that I'm in Orlando, I'm bandwagoning the Magic. I live right next to the stadium. Went to the playing game. I'm gonna have to go to another game. But there might break history. There's only one team that's beaten a 1 seed that is an 8 seed. But here's something to amp you guys up. Come on, let's get amped up. Come on, Kane. Uh-oh. That was fun. Boom. Gotta love it. I was amped up in my house yesterday. Now that is a poster, and that look at this. Boom. Beautiful, beautiful. And you know what's even more beautiful? Those alerts, because those are for BBAI testing highs right now. Let's pull that back up. And then we have Fannie Mae with the bounce. Look, FMCC took a spike. So that dip actually would have been good to buy some more into, boys and girls. BBAI tested a new high. So we are green in both of our positions. This is the cushion I was talking about for both of them. Is you hopefully hold those spots. You can use those spots as cut. And then we look for the follow-up. As of right now, we have a $100-something plus cushion in Fannies. And then we have the $70 cushion in good old BBAI. So nothing too crazy. I didn't expect jackpots out of these, but it's a good start. Now we need the rest of it to work out, but it is a good start. As I was sitting there watching some Kane highlights. Boom, baby. We about to dunk on the shorts. Yeah, and like Chris said, Chris is actually one of my OG members. He's actually been with the team for a long time now. In and out, he's like one of those relationships. I'm just kidding. But he actually is buying and selling wall tattooing, which I've seen my boy get them tattoos. Might have to get one day. I don't have any, but if I get one, it's gonna be from you, dude. Maybe the sniper logo one day. All right. So let's see. With FMCC getting that mini spike, you do think Fannie Mae might be able to do it, but Fannie Mae's up more than FMCC. So which one would you like? Which one do you like? You could kind of pick and choose. I've already done my decision making. But the best thing, like I said earlier, is you are your own boss. And no matter what, you can decide what you want to do after this. Market closes in a couple minutes. BBAI will move after hours. So I just already got that alert hit on the upside. So let me delete this one and let me make a new one. So we still have the alert where if it comes down, I'll get alerted. I'll put another one for this, for the one that if it comes down, I'll get alerted. I'll put one down here at 4:02 because I'm going to be a little busy after hours. I'm actually going to go finish getting my suit tailored. I got to go pick it up. So let's see. Create alert withdrawing, crosses below, boom. And then we'll do one for crosses above. The thing about crosses above is when you zoom out to this BBAI, you have resistance now. And resistance is big. 415, 414. Can we break that spot? So I want to put some alerts up here. If we can, that's a really good sign that we will follow up tomorrow. But let's see if we can get above this 413. It looks like it's getting there now already. But I'll put my alert crosses above. If it already crosses that, we will put a new alert. But for now, that's how I like to set myself up. But there we go. We got new highs BBAI. If you did catch that $4 spot with us, That's a nice cushion. Anyone from the YouTube community? The reason why I go YouTube live, guys, like I said, I don't really care about, you know, growing my community anymore. Like I love who I have. That's really what it's all about. But I do still think that good content needs to always be out there. I just think the industry's screwed. So buying something at one price and selling something at the next, as simple as possible. No forex, no GPY versus UPY, USDC versus Japan DC, none of that. Buying something at one price, selling it higher. As simple as possible. It's like sports cards has become a huge, huge thing lately. Same thing. You're just buying a sports card at one price, and what are you doing? You're selling it at a higher price. All right, we've got 15 minutes left. GoPro is actually making new highs from the overnight watch list. Looks like the fannies have topped out one more time. Holy jeez. They seem to always want to top out at these levels. But we're just gonna stick with our cut. So if you have a hard time, sometimes at the beginning of your trading career, especially when it's penny stocks, it becomes a little harder once you're in the stock to say, oh my God, and you want to get out. And to beat around the bush of that feeling, I like to put a lot of post-it notes. I'm a post-it note guy, so I put post-it notes everywhere. So if anything, just put your cut spots on a post-it note. Like what you write is you write Fannie Mae 750, or you can do 748. We'll do like a little lower. And then we'll do BBAI 395. You write it on your post-it note, and then you have it ready just in case you want to get emotional tomorrow. Because a big part of trading is sticking to the plan day in and day out. Trading could be emotional. It's very easy to be emotional. You have your money on the line. So you got to make sure it's money you hopefully don't desperately need. And then by sticking to your cut spots, you won't get too emotional on the upside and downside. Because there is emotion on the upside too. If you keep holding the stock and you make too much money on it, you get too greedy, and then you think every stock you're going to trade, you're going to make that much money on it, which usually ends up being the worst sword to deal with. And it's probably one of the biggest ways to drain an account. But it will grow an account at first if you do catch a nice lucky one. Now, these are all personal opinions. Remember that? It's just a guy that's been trading for 11 years now. It's opinions. All right. So with all these stocks that we had on the overnight watch list, it's beautiful to see. I mean, all 5 of them are creeping up to highs. And that's what you'd want into the end of the day. So if you caught any dip buy, HGREF down here in the 550s, we're going highs. The GoPro's coming to highs. The fannies are still holding. And then BBAI is right up to that resistance spot of 413. I want to see if it could break it. If it can't, we'll watch it after hours, and we'll see if it could break it. We've only got about 10 minutes left. Does anybody have any questions or tickers or anything that they want to talk about before we close out here? If you want to join us live tomorrow for ourselves, you could come check us out in the Stock Mavericks or the Stock Snipers room under simplertrading.com. Got tons of different community traders under there, but we're under Stock Snipers. Great. Honestly, every community is a great community. I highly recommend checking out others as well. You got to find what works for you. A big part of trading is that too, finding what strategy works for you. All right, so in the last 10 minutes, we'll start to look at some stuff for tomorrow morning. So I like to kind of prepare myself for tomorrow's morning watch list. Chris said SNBR. What's going on with that one? So that's a 50% runner. Let's see if there's any big morning momentum plays for tomorrow. ATER was the other A one. So I just forgot about ATER, but it was ATER. That was the one. No, it wasn't ATER. What was the other one? Hold on. No, I had ATER. I thought it was another A one. Oh, ACAN, AKAN. I was like, I know, I'm fucking going crazy. There we go. QVCPQ. Whoa, 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 whoa. We just talked about bankrupt stocks. Come on now. Let me see what's going on there. What is this? QVC. QVC is bankrupt now? Well, I don't know what's going to happen there, but we have to put this in the morning watch list. BBAI just made new highs, gentlemen, boys, and gals. Nice to see that move happen there. QVCB. All right, so we're going to start looking at tomorrow's morning watch list since we do have 10 minutes left. Let's start seeing what we can find on there. I always like to put the stuff we're in overnight. So we'll start with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, as well as the BBAI. So I put those two on there. If I'm in the stock overnight, I like to highlight them in green. So as I start to make this watch list, we've got the Fannies, BBAI, and then what did Hover do today? So Hover, I feel like might be able to make that hammer candle tomorrow. It needs to curl back up. And then the two bankrupt stocks we'll be watching. There will be more on there, but for now, that's what we got. I'll do more of my scan later. It looks like BBAI just crossed our second alert. So I got to delete this alert now and actually move it even higher. This is an AI related stock. I do think we're in the forefront of some hot AI movement. I do think, I don't even think we know how hot AI could possibly be right now. A lot of people are saying it's the .com era when I'm listening to podcasts, but even bigger. So BBAI, let's run it. I'll put an alert up by 420 now, 419. So create alert withdrawing when it crosses above, if it does. But that's a nice curl. We were live when we were buying down here. We were live together buying down here. So I'm live doing this every day. FNMA, same thing. We're coming to highs finally. Are we going to be able to break out finally, or we're going to keep holding this spot and get rejected again? We only got 7 more minutes to decide which way it wants to go. Let's see. Oh my God, it got rejected again. I mean, this stock, it might have to be like AMFN yesterday, where the only thing that can happen out of it is the gap up tomorrow. And if it doesn't gap up, we'll play it accordingly. But on the other hand, we got new highs in BBAI. So we'll see if that one can continue its run. But beautiful to see, and at least beautiful cushion to start. Doesn't guarantee it's going to win. This can come back down, and if it does come back down, it is what it is. So we got 5 minutes left. The last 5 minutes, I say, let's see if we can get the buzzer beater pushes. Fanny's got rejected one more time, unfortunately, so they're going to give us a dip. I don't think we're going to get much of a cushion there, but at least we have a little bit in BBAI. So we'll be looking to sell the gap. Lately, we've been taking 2 stocks overnight. So I usually do Webinar Wednesday. Tomorrow, we'll be doing Webinar Wednesday. We've actually had a really good week. It's been our best week all month. And last week was really good. But if you go back to our webinar Wednesdays, every single week I like to review them. And last week we did pretty well here, going 9 for 3, but usually averaging 2 trades a day. So that's more what I was pointing out. Every week, if you go back to all our past weeks, even on a 4-day week, we average 2 trades, 1.8. So lately it's kind of been that strategy. And what happens if you can win both those trades, you actually look really nice and your account can slowly grow. Your account can grow. If you win one, lose one, you still should be able to profit and your account can slowly keep growing. So that's usually the goal. It's a big numbers game what I trade and what I play. And that's really all it is at the end of the day, trying to kind of make the numbers, make the best out of the numbers we got. And that's why I coined myself a stock sniper. So you want to buy at a specific prices and then hopefully sell at those. And here's a good example of that. We were buying $4, 401, 402 late in the day when I like it. And that's almost the lowest spot you could have got. Same thing with Fannie Mae. I mean, I hope it doesn't come lower, but at this point, we literally bought the lowest spot you could have got right before Power Hour. And we did that same thing yesterday. If you remember the trade yesterday in VRNO, it was the only cannabis stock that dipped. And we literally sniped this spot. And then we just sold it up here. Similar situation. That does take time. But setting yourself up with a good risk is what everybody can do. All right, since FMCC is pushing, FMAI should push into the close here. I'd be surprised if one's coming down and the other one's going up. Good holds. GoPro held up if you do like that one. This QVC one, I have no clue what's going on with that, but I think it's a fun one to watch tomorrow. We'll keep watching Hertz as well. That's another one on the morning watch list you can't forget about. Car and Hertz. Those have been the crazy panic that we've been waiting to happen. I want Car to come all the way down to 135, and it hasn't quite bounced yet, so maybe we do get that tomorrow. Other than that, the cannabis stocks cooled down, but maybe we can get them to spike back up tomorrow. That was the hot sector last week because of the news that came out of the descheduling. So hopefully it can come back. Also, that FLYYQ was such a big move that maybe QVCPQ comes up. So we'll have that one pulled up as well. I also like to have a full list of big morning watchers or the big morning runners like ACAN and ATER. So I'm going to put those on my list. And usually if there's possible squeezers after hours or maybe for tomorrow morning, I like to look at them. So let's see what we got here, if any of these are possible squeezers. SGMT. SGMT is one for tomorrow. We'll keep an eye on. Yeah, SGMT for a possible morning squeeze. But other than that, that's the only one I got. All right, 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning. Does anybody on the YouTube channel or on with the team have any questions about anything? Anything they're interested in? Any other tickers? I don't know why this FNMA is pushing down a little bit, but it is what it is. We'll see if we can get the gap for the BBAI. Let's get this gap. Hopefully we hold up into the close. I do have some cash ready for tomorrow morning if we do have to make a move on something else. The beautiful thing about the market is you literally never know. You never know when's going to be the best day, when a hot sector is going to happen. We had no clue that cannabis was going to randomly heat up when it did last week. So it's all about just always being prepared with those tools and those skills that you gain from being here day in and day out. All right, well, this is where we're going to close off. It looks like the Fannie Mae is going to close slightly up, which will take it. Hopefully it closes here. This BBAI is definitely closing up, which is nice. All right, we've got 10 seconds left. Let's see where it decides to tick to. Right now it's showing 771. Can we finally break 776 into the close? No. This BBAI, we have our alerts just in case it ticks up or down. We'll be ready for it. And that's where it's going to finish, 766. What? It almost ticked 730, but it took the 66 instead. BBAI will move after hours, so keep an eye on it. For some reason, that's showing 412, but still, good move there. And then looking for the gaps, hopefully, in that FNMA. But nice work all together, guys. Let's keep taking it one day, one trade at a time. If you guys are interested in joining the team, come join us under Stock Snipers on the Simpler Trading website. I don't know why Trueleaf got a squeeze into the close, but look at that random squeeze into the close. Good thing we covered that short. So like a good short possibly for tomorrow. I want to note that. Let me note that before I forget about it. Just in case cannabis comes down and this is still hanging out up there. Ha! All right, guys, I'm going to head out of here. And John says, go Sabres. My family's actually originally from Buffalo, so we'll say go Sabres too. All right, team. Much love. Keep taking it one day and one trade at a time. And I'll see all of you guys back here either on YouTube Live exactly a week from now or come check us out on the website. Peace.
Connected to iPhone 8.